Yo, what is up guys? Chapter 6 Season 1 is here, and with that all of us have the same goal of getting back up to that Unreal rank. Now in today's video I'm going to share with you guys some tips and strategies you can use to help get up to Unreal as quick as possible in the brand new season. If you do find this video helpful, please do make sure to drop a like and subscribe as I'm almost at 25,000 subscribers. Now let's get straight on into today's video. Okay, so firstly, just before I get into any tips, I want to talk about which game mode of Ranked you should play, and also, is there any changes to Ranked this season, obviously with it now being Chapter 6 Season 1? Well, as we know in Chapter 2 Remix, Epic switched from 1 placement game all the way up to 5 placement games to help decide your rank. However, it seems like they've reversed their decision on this change, as now in Chapter 6 Season 1, you only need a single placement game to decide your rank. Now, depending on what rank you get put in your placement game, and this will be decided from how well you do in that placement game, so if you drop a high elimination win, you're more likely to get put into a higher rank. If you die off spawn, you're going to get put into a lower rank, but I found on average most people end up getting ranked in Gold 2. Now, it does also depend on what rank you were last season. For example, if you were only Bronze last season, even if you drop a high elim win, it's likely you only get ranked in Gold 1 or Silver, whereas if you were Unreal last season and you get a good placement game, it's likely you could push all the way up to that Platinum rank for your very first placement game. Now, in terms of which game mode to play for Ranked this season, well, not much has changed. As we know, Solos is the rank that always ranks you up fastest per kill, and the reason for this is because killing a single player in Solos is equivalent to wiping an entire team, because there are 100 different teams. If you look at a squad match, to wipe one single team you need to get 4 kills. So 4 squad kills, is roughly equal to 1 solo kill. So that's why solo kills rank you up fastest, and if you get a good game in Solos, you'll see your percent goes up quite rapidly compared to if you get a good game in squads. For example, if you get a 10 kill win in Solos, your percentage may go up by up to 100%, but if you get that in squads, possibly only 40 to 50%, just due to the fact that kills aren't as hard to get in a squads mode. Now, in order to pick which game mode you should play to rank up the fastest, it all depends on which game mode you're going to perform best in. For example, if you're a really good and strong Solos player, then I'd recommend constantly playing Solos, because if you can constantly drop decent elim games and get into that top 5 placement, you can gain percentage very, very rapidly and fly up those ranks. Whereas if you're not the best solo player and you've got a couple good mates, then maybe duos, trios, or squads might be a better mode. You should pick the mode where you can perform best in on a regular basis, whether this is with or without teammates, in squad, solos, whichever ones you can drop high elim games on a regular basis. That's the game mode you should play to rank up fast. Okay, so now I'm going to split each ranked game you play up into 3 different sections, these being the early game section, the mid game section, and the end game section. If you can master all 3 of these, you'll get to Unreal rank before you even know it. Now, starting off, let's talk about your early game section. Now, there is 2 different ways which you can play when playing off spawn. You have a calm and defensive playstyle, and you have the more aggressive playstyle. Now, starting off with the calm playstyle, what would I recommend? Well, let's talk about drop spots first of all. Now, what I found from playing just a few games on the first day of the season state is that every POI tends to be really congested, especially the ones near the battle bus, or known as hot drops. Now, the reason for this is because no one has a set drop spot yet, and everyone is just trying to check out the map. My recommendation would be to you is to land on the outskirts of the map, or somewhere on the map that isn't a named POI if you're trying to play really safe. This is because everyone is going to the named POIs and the lobbies are dying out really quickly. So if you land at a non-named POI and get off spawn on a regular basis, say you land at a gas station for example, and you're regularly able to get off spawn and get a high placement game and pick up kills once you've got your loot together, you're going to rank up really fast instead of just dying off spawn at a congested POI like Lost Lake or like Demon's Dojo. Now, what I also want to talk about is the aggressive playstyle off of spawn. Now, for the aggressive playstyle off of spawn, I would recommend going to a named location, but again, for this, you've got to make sure that you are a good fighter. Now, there is a lot of RNG sort of luck with the weapons that are in this season so far. I don't have a true understanding yet because it is only the first couple days, but it seems to me like there are a lot of weird weapons within the game which players that aren't so good are going to use. In other words, it's quite easy for you to die off spawn this season, so I would be very careful if you're going to go and name POI. But I would land on the outskirts of the named POI, I'd go out the back and make sure you get sufficient mats. So for example, if you're landing Lost Lake, I'd go around the POI and try and get trees and rocks in order to give you a sufficient amount of materials. And while you're doing this, other players within the POI are going to fight, and then what you can do is you can come in with more mats and more health and good loot from looting the outskirts of the POI, and you can third party their fight and you can eliminate both the players, helping you to rank up fast. So now it's time to move on to what you should do in the mid game. Now I do want to say very quickly, I do have a very bad cold, so apologies if I'm a little inconsistent with the audio within this recording, but I want to get this video out as quick as possible for you guys. So starting off with the mid game, if you really do want to do well in your mid game, it all depends about where you're going to rotate. Now starting off with the calm and defensive playstyle, I'd recommend rotating to the dead side of zone. Now the dead side of zone is the area that the zone has pulled onto, for example. So if you take the current Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 1 map, let's say that it constantly pulls to the right hand side of the map towards Shining Span. Now over near Shining Span is likely to be the dead side because only the people that will be there is either people that have rotated dead side or people that landed there off the spawn. Now the area near Foxy Floodgate and Brutal Boxcars is likely to be a bit more congested, and this is because you have people rotating in from the left hand side of the map such as Twinkle Terrace, Lock Lake, Night Shift Forest for example, all rotating into that area, so that area is likely to become pretty congested with a lot of players. So if you are looking to survive as a player, I would always recommend going to the dead side of zone, and also the players, if you do find anyone that you are going to fight on the dead side of zone, probably won't be that great because they're also trying to camp and get deeper into the game as well, so it means that if you do happen to take a fight on dead side, one, you're not likely to get third partied because there's not that many players over there, and two, the player you're facing shouldn't be that good. Now in terms of the more aggressive playstyle, I'd actually recommend hovering round congested side, and this is because you're going to get a lot of fights around there, but playing aggressively depends on your skill. You have to be honest with yourself and realize, am I a good enough fighter to play aggressively within these lobbies? And if the answer is yes, then go congested side and try and pick up a bunch of kills. The new pump shotgun is extremely strong this season, so if you're a really good piece control and shotgun player, you can pick up a lot of kills easily in this meta, so I'd just recommend going congested side and W-keying the hell out of the lobby. Okay, so now it's time to talk about the third section of the game, which is of course the end game. Now from my experience in previous seasons and at the very beginning of this season, ranked end games in the first sort of week, well, they don't really exist, and the reason for that is because everyone goes around W-keying really heavily just to get into as many fights to help rank up as quick as possible, meaning when it does get to those final zones, there's not that many players left alive. Also, the new Void Masks are insane movement, so it means that many people are getting around the map very quickly and therefore getting into fights and eliminating each other at a fast rate. But in terms of how you can play the end game to do well, the first thing I want to talk about is that kills in the top 10 are worth more than a kill off spawn. Now the reason for this is because Epic views it within the ranked system that players that made it to the top 10, one, have better loot and are more likely to be fully looted up, but not only that, they should be a better player because they haven't died off spawn and they've made it to the end of the game. This means that then if you eliminate someone within the top 10, Epic will grant you more of a reward for getting that kill than they would if you just killed someone with no gun off of spawn. Now, the good thing about this is that what you can do is you can play really calm until you get into the top 10 if you are playing the calm and defensive playstyle, and then you can look to try and frag out and pick up 2 to 3 elims, and this will probably gain you just as much percentage as 5 to 6 elims would off spawn. So you can do this strategy in order to combat that and help you rank up really, really fast, but of course in an endgame you're always going for a win or a top 2, but trying to pick up some kills along the way. In terms of the aggressive playstyle, it's the same as what we've already talked about. Anyone which you do see you want to W key, and of course those kills that you get in the top 10 are going to be worth just as more to you as well. So it's a massive insight to try and W key and get as many kills at the end game as you can, but obviously still make sure you get that win, because let's say it's a 1v1, it could be up to an extra 5-10% if you get that victory royale, so make sure you're always prioritizing getting the win, whether that is rotating early into the zone, building up and having a nice base to spray back at players that are coming in with the new Fury assault rifle that is massively OP. Thank you guys very much for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed. Please click this video on screen to help improve at Fortnite this season further. Thank you, peace out from me.